Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and OpTic have revealed some further insight into exactly what went down with the drama behind the scenes during this roster mania period, with Rambo explaining that Dashy has a lot to learn to be the best teammate he possibly can be going into next season. Very much into your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Lots to talk about with Modern Warfare 2 as well. A new unintended line of sight. Here we go. Jump on this thing. Jump on another thing, get on top of a roof. Unlikely to be intended, but look, you can mantle on it right, I'm sure is what Clayster would say, so maybe it is intended, who knows, wouldn't put it past Infinity Ward. Now, look, there are 4 maps in the game as it stands. There was meant to be another map coming to the beta, the Marina Bay Grand Prix map, that I believe the pros thought was pretty much the best one that they played on, and was definitely viable for competitive. Apparently that map is now either no longer a thing, classic, or they're having to change some things around to make it viable, right? These are, of course, the maps we have so far. Definitely tweet your thoughts on these in the comment section below. I think, honestly, they're above average for Infinity Ward games compared to, like, Trag maps and stuff. Like, I don't know, they're rather more complicated than I feel like they have to be at times. Some of them might work for Search and Destroy, but, yeah, I'm not exactly convinced yet. Maybe Farm 18 or something could be viable for, like, Hardpoint or something. I'm not really sure, but, look, I guess we'll see how it goes. The map that many were excited for, though, was this Marina Bay Grand Prix map that, all of the tweets related to this from the Call of Duty League channels have now been deleted. The trailer's gone, everything is gone. It was meant to come in the beta, it's now effectively being scrapped, maybe, or as you might expect, there's some sort of legal issues with either Formula 1 or the actual owners of the Marina Bay track. Who knows? Because if you guys look at the images for this one, you can see stuff like this, which is, very clearly based on the Singapore Grand Prix track. Now, many, of course, would mention that the Singapore Grand Prix is only in a few weeks' time, right at the end of this month, so maybe the kind of, it co-aligns a little bit with the Singapore Grand Prix going on, and also the campaign or the beta coming out for Modern Warfare 2, so some people thought maybe they were kind of aligned on this Formula 1 and Call of Duty. Seems like that's kind of not the case, but like I can't imagine that they would actually make this map if they didn't believe they had the rights to do it, right? I'm not exactly sure how it works in terms of ownership stuff with an actual track here, because it doesn't look like this all the time. It only looks like this, the track, when they set it up for Formula 1. Quite clearly, you've got the paddock here, you've got the podium, of course, you've got a car here on the start-finish straight, for some reason hugging the wall. Don't know why they're doing that, but it is what it is. And yeah, this is what the track looks like. You've even got some like fake sponsors they've put up around the place, and even this image that came out from them as well, where you can see here what looks look, this is clearly based on the Red Bull, right? Because the colors are the Red Bull, and also Infinity. You guys might know that I'm not sure if Red Bull are still sponsored by Infinity, but they used to be sponsored by a company called Infinity. I think it was like the premium version of Nissan or something like that. And anyway, it was not spelt Infinity, it's got an I at the ends, but I don't know, just things like that where they've obviously taken some deep inspiration from the real life situations. Maybe they've run into some issues along those lines. Now, hopefully they can resolve this, because they've made the map. They obviously had reason to believe they could make the map and it'd be okay. Maybe they've run into some sort of legal troubles. They've got to work through a few loopholes, and maybe they find it easier just to delete the map entirely, but hopefully they don't, because apparently it was pretty damn good, and I was looking forward to playing on it. And I'm sure those of you who are Formula 1 fans maybe follow my F1 channel as well, which is doing pretty well lately, so thanks to all those who watched both of them. It looked like it was going to be good. Maybe it's gone. Now, this did remind me of one thing from a few years ago, which is this weapon that you guys may remember from the Black Ops 3 beta. This was the Arc 7, as it was called in the Black Ops 3 beta, one of the best weapons to use. When the game came out, it was renamed to the KN-44, of course. Now, this I thought was always rather interesting, and there was people speculating as to why they had to change the name. I think people were speculating that there was some sort of copyright they didn't have for this weapon name, therefore they had to change it, right? Now, in that case, it's easy. Just change the name of the weapon at no problem at all. Now, in a case of an entire map, then maybe it gets a little bit more complicated. You've got to either change the name of it or, switch some things around. They might decide it's easier just to scrap it. Hopefully they don't know. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for more updates on that one, but it doesn't seem like it's going to arrive into the beta at the very least. Now, if this wants to load, here we go, from Crone, you can actually manually drop the bomb in Search. I guess they added it to the beta yesterday, Search and Destroy, and this is something we've wanted for quite a long time, and honestly, it's just a great addition. If you pick up the bomb at the start of the round, the only way you can usually get rid of it is if you, well, plant the bomb or die. Now you can actually drop the bomb, so this definitely creates a really interesting, like, possibility possibilities and what you can do in certain situations. You can't throw the bomb like you can in Counter-Strike, which of course, like in CS, for example, if you're kind of, well, if you want someone to plant, but they're on the other side of a choke point, you can potentially chuck the bomb over at them so they can get the bomb down. You can't do that. If you drop it, you drop it at the floor, but it does open the possibilities to some really interesting plays and some opportunities where, okay, one player gets the bomb either accidentally, drops it to their teammates, and there might be some interesting strategic uses here that Simp might already be thinking up. When one player who usually carries the bomb has it, maybe they're spotted going somewhere, then they drop the bomb, their teammate then runs away with it, and then the other team still thinks, oh, okay, the bomb carrier is over here, but actually the bomb's been dropped and it's been taken by the teammate elsewhere. Who knows how you could abuse this, but I think it's pretty cool that it's in the game regardless. Now, some other things to mention here, because I think I even talked about this yesterday when Shotzzy was doing the slide cancel, that there has been seemingly a dolphin dive cancel. Now, I can't imagine this is particularly useful, but maybe it is. And also, it seems like it's used because he lands on the front of this car or whatever he lands on. So maybe that's what helps him kind of cancel the dive. Like, I mean, yeah, this is pretty mental. People are finding out stuff like this all the time, and obviously the movement is, still evolving as it stands right now. Let's dive into this whole OpTic kind of Dashy situation then, because thought this was crazy from Brian's stats here, looking at the number of seasons these guys that are now still starting in the league are actually playing. This will be Scump's 13th season, Zinni's 12th season from way back in the day. He's been competing. Slasher, Accuracy, Attach, all the way up there. Havoc as well, I guess, is competing. It's kind of crazy. It's his 9th season, but I guess Havoc was around since at least Advanced Warfare, so the AW year, and then beyond that, I guess it does add up to kind of going on 9 years. So crazy to think about, really. There's no one in the 8th season, actually, but, even Temp, Huke, TJ, Halley, Arcitys, they're in their 7th season now, and, Scump's legacy is crazy, right? His 13th year of competing, I'm sure for a lot of you guys, for me, like, that's well over half my life Scump's been competing for, so that's absurd. But even some other numbers here, right? Even some guys that you feel like are relatively new, the likes of Envoy, aBeZy, obviously aBeZy and Simp, right? But I mean, even these guys, 6th, 5th season respectively, they're going to be competing in, and Dashy's now in his 6th season, right? So, like, Dashy still kind of seems to me like not exactly a rookie, but he doesn't feel like he's been around that long, but he's now been around for, like, well, what will be 6 years since the Infinite Warfare days, IW, World War II, Black Ops 4, and then the 3 years we've had of franchising. I guess Infinite Warfare doesn't count because he's just played at Champs. I'm pretty sure Brian Stats wasn't counting players that just played at Champs or one event in one season. He's kind of counting entire seasons, because otherwise Arcitys, his Black Ops 3 season would be counted because he played at Champs that year. But yeah, obviously Dashy, he's like getting to the point where he's not exactly a veteran, but he's been around quite a long time compared to some other players in the league at this point, right? So there was all this talk about, okay, what exactly happened there behind the scenes? What really was the reason why Dashy was going to be gone? Hex and Rambo did a podcast, of course, and they confirmed that, yeah, they weren't making this up at all. And Dashy, in Rambo's opinion, is the most talented player, if not one of the most talented players. He starts off by saying, yeah, the most talented, and he says, okay, one of them is talented, but, Rambo seems to believe, and Hex, of course, I'm sure believes as well, the sniper heritage and stuff like that. The Dashy is, the most talented player they've had on their organization for a very long period of time. But Rambo says, look, there's a lot of stuff outside of the game in terms of being a teammate and being a person externally that was a real issue to the OpTic team, right? And there's more to playing, of course, than just individual ability, and saying that everyone's got a fair bit to learn, including Dashy.
Dashy is OpTic Dashy, man. I don't want him anywhere else. And for me, it was like, yeah. I was like, no, goddamn. In the back of my head, I'm like, no. And I'm like, just say no, scream no. But I'm like, guys, let's consider the fact that this is what could happen. And yeah, we had all the power in the world to hold him and just wait on him to see where he could go. But as usual, we did the right thing to see if he was going to be able to go somewhere. I mean, it's crazy to see, because again, like, I feel like there's like kind of what you described. There's a lot of talent in the league, and obviously Brandon is like probably the most talented, like one of the most talented, if not the most talented player that we have in Call of Duty right now. I mean, the guy can even go play Valorant and play like a super high level. No, it's an anomaly.
He's just super, like, just born with the talent, right? Like, but like everyone should know, like, there's always things going on behind the scenes and certain things that players, and like everyone has stuff to learn. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, he's still young, and that's the biggest thing for me is, like, I think all the discussions we had after post the all fiasco that happened was that he understands, and he was very open-minded about trying to get better individually as kind of like a person behind the scenes, as a teammate. Because I think that's really where the issues lie with a lot of the changes that were going to happen. It was just a lot of things happen behind the scenes on the drama side that just weren't things you don't need, things you don't want, and things you can't really have if you want to win. And I think that's really kind of what I liked about the whole, like, again, without going into too much, like, I feel like we're all on the right path now, that there should be no, like, grudges or anything about things that happen. It should be all, like, open-minded. Let's succeed. Let's do what's necessary to succeed, and we'll literally see the success come to us.
Yeah, you know, if the human elements of this game and every game, and really wasn't such a big factor in it, I think that it'd be that much easier to navigate a decision like that, because it wasn't about the skill, it wasn't about that it's. You know, it's about like the inner work, the chemistry side of it, which is also just as important as being able to shoot straight and play a new role.
So obviously OpTic realized after time that like getting rid of Dashy doesn't make sense. If we let him go, he's only going to probably go and improve another team. We can't really do better than Dashy. Like it makes sense, because at the end of the day now, Scump and Shotzzy, I would say, are both undroppable. Scump's always been undroppable. Shotzzy, I would argue, is now undroppable. iLLeY is the most droppable, but clearly Dashy might have been as well. And this is one question I do have, because Dashy, as we say, he's been around 6 years at this point. Like he's obviously committed to the team and being the best teammate he can be, and whether Rambo's talking about work ethic, right, getting up on time, putting in the time, you know, watching VOD, giving 100%, like I think that's probably part of it, because we know that Dashy likes Valorant a lot. Like he plays a lot of Valorant, he's incredibly good at it, incredibly naturally talented. Being able to get Radiant as like a Call of Duty pro on the side is pretty absurd, and we know that Aches has been joking about it, of course, for quite some time, that yeah, he puts more time into Valorant than he does into the CDL action. Now of course, you know, it's not bad to play Valorant on the side, have a hobby on the side of playing Call of Duty. You can't play COD, you know, 16 hours a day. But I think someone would raise the question, is Dashy fully committed to playing Call of Duty at the very highest level? Or like, you know, does he have other things on his mind? Because there's talk about, okay, Dashy's been around 6 years at this point. He's not really a leadership type character on the team. And a lot of main ARs over time need to develop that kind of skill set. OpTic don't really have that outside of iLLeY. And that was one of the questions I had, is like, well, when they were going to get rid of iLLeY because maybe thumb injury or whatever, they weren't sure whether keeping him was the correct decision, then they needed some sort of leadership role, right? And we know that Scump has never really been that guy. Shotzzy's not going to be that guy. So usually, unless you can replace iLLeY with a player like that in the flex position, you need your main AR to do that type of role. And Dashy, like, we know he's incredibly talented. He knows that, of course. But whether, like, he's giving his all outside and inside the game to, like, really leveling up his ability, right? Because maybe that's kind of the argument here, is that, okay, Dashy, yes, like, his work ethic does seem to be better this year than it has been recently. That's certainly been a discussion that has been had. Maybe it fell off a little bit, right, when the iLLeY situation went down, and maybe he wasn't giving his all to, obviously pure speculation, right, into, you know, watching VOD and search and destroy practice and coming up with ideas with the team and stuff like this, but also whether there's an element of like, look, Dashy's got a lot still to improve on. Yes, he's incredibly talented, but Rambo's like, look, I mean, Dashy, you've been around 5-6 years at this point. It's time to level up other elements of your gameplay as well, so you can be an all-rounded superstar player rather than just someone who everyone says, yes, well, he's got incredible gun skill, but he's only won 2 events in his career, right? Which, of course, on OpTic in your 6th year of competing isn't really going to cut it. So intrigued to your thoughts on that in the comment section below. I wonder if that's kind of part of what's going on there. And of course, look, they recognize that Dashy realizes this now. And I mean, look, people have said this for quite some time, that Dashy realizes that he's got to level up his gameplay, like outside of the game, not just in the game, right? And at the start of last season, it seemed to be a turnaround year. Maybe, you know, maybe this year will follow suit in a similar style as well. Few things to mention before we close out the video. I thought this is pretty cool from OpTic. Which movement meta was the best? The regular movement back in the good old days, the dolphin dive, slide cancel, jetpacks. I mean, this looks like Black Ops 1 in the top right here, so I don't know. Dolphin dive was fun. Jetpacks were probably the era that I had the most fun playing Call of Duty, in fairness. So, like, I don't know, I have a soft spot for jetpacks, even though I probably wouldn't have said that at the time. So, rose-tinted glasses to some degree. And just to mention this on the slide cancel topic, because many are saying, well, slide cancel's back, this is bad. Some people are saying slide cancel's back, this is good. And that's kind of what Parasite is arguing, right? Because when you have, like, a very fast time to kill, relatively slow weapon handling, then it's actually really difficult to challenge people and take someone off a power position, right? In Black Ops 2, you had really quick weapon handling, and you had, you know, different time to kill to what we have in the present day. So you could get away with not having a slide cancel, whereas nowadays, like, you might need that advanced movement to actually challenge people, which has been argued the last couple of seasons. But I think if they are going to have a slide cancel, make it easier to execute than the cheat code combinations people have to presently execute. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.